The bullet shattered the window 3 inches from Maya's head. She hit the marble floor of the penthouse, champagne flute exploding against the tiles. Glass rained down. A Sanother shot punched through the curtains. Her heart hammered against her ribs as she crawled behind the leather sofa, designer dress tearing at the knees. Her braids had come loose from their elegant updo, beads skittering across the floor. This wasn't supposed to happen. Dead men didn't have enemies who shot at their widows. Her phone buzzed in her clutch. A text from him, from her dead husband. Bedroom, now lock the door. Maya's hands shook as she army-crawled across the open floor plan. Another bullet took out a priceless vase. Whoever was shooting didn't care about collateral damage. She scrambled into the master bedroom and slammed the door, thumbs flying across her phone's screen. What the hell is happening? I'm sorry. I'll explain everything. Closet, false panel, left side. She wanted to scream. For 3 months, she'd been texting a ghost. For 3 months, she'd played the grieving widow to Jung Taehyun, Korea's youngest tech billionaire, killed in a car accident on his wedding day. Except they'd never met before the ceremony. Except it wasn't really a wedding because the groom was already dead. Except his family had paid her $2 million to go through with it anyway. Some bizarre Korean tradition she didn't understand, but desperately needed the money for. Her father's heart condition didn't pay for itself. Neither did keeping her younger siblings in school back in Atlanta. Maya Jefferson Park. She'd taken the hyphenated name for the ceremony, tore through the walk-in closet, pushing aside custom suits that still smelled like cedar and bergamot. Her fingers found the panel, and it clicked open to reveal a narrow passageway. She squeezed inside just as the bedroom door exploded inward. The passage was dark and tight, barely wide enough for her shoulders. She felt her way down what seemed like stairs, her breathing ragged in the enclosed space. Behind her, footsteps and voices in rapid Korean. They were searching for her. Her phone lit up the darkness. Keep going. I'm tracking your location. When you reach the bottom, run left. Black car, get in. Are you really? She typed back, fingers trembling. Your husband. She almost laughed. Her husband was ash in an urn on the family altar. Her husband was a death certificate and a bank account with more zeros than she could count. Her husband was late-night texts that felt too real, too present, too knowing to be automated messages from beyond the grave. The passage ended in a basement garage. Maya burst out, barefoot now, and spotted the black sedan with tinted windows. She ran, expecting it to be locked, but the door opened before she reached it. She dove inside. The car peeled out before she even closed the door. The driver was stone-faced, professional, silent. They took corners at speeds that made her stomach drop. She twisted around to look through the rear window. 2 motorcycles were following. Where are we going? She demanded. The driver didn't answer. Her phone buzzed. Safe house in Gangnam. Stay down, don't let them see you. I want answers, now, or I'm calling the police. The police can't protect you from these people. I can. You're dead. Clearly not. Maya wanted to throw the phone. Instead, she ducked as instructed as the motorcycles gained ground. The driver made a sharp right into what looked like a solid wall but turned out to be a barely visible entrance to an underground tunnel. The motorcycles couldn't follow. They lost them. 20 minutes later, the car descended into a private garage beneath a nondescript building. The driver finally spoke. 10th floor, penthouse, he's waiting. He's waiting, Maya repeated flatly. My dead husband is waiting. Driver's expression didn't change. She got out, took the elevator up alone, and emerged into another penthouse, this one smaller, more minimalist, clearly designed to be invisible. And standing by the floor-to-ceiling windows, backlit by the Seoul skyline, was a man she'd only seen in photographs, Jung Taehyun. Alive, he turned, and Maya forgot how to breathe. The photos hadn't captured the intensity of his presence, the sharp intelligence in his dark eyes, the coiled tension in his stance. He was beautiful in a dangerous way, like a blade. You, she managed. You're real. I'm real. His voice was deeper than she'd imagined from his texts, with a rough edge that sent shivers down her spine. I'm sorry about tonight. I didn't think they'd move this quickly. Didn't think, Maya's fear crystallized into rage. You faked your death. You married me while pretending Tobe dead. You've been texting me for 3 months like some kind of psychopath, and someone just tried to kill me. What the hell is going on? He moved toward her slowly, hands visible like approaching a spooked animal. My name is Taehyun. We are married. That part is real. Everything else, the accident, the death, I staged it to protect myself and my family from people who wanted me dead. I needed to disappear. Then why did you marry me? Something flickered across his face. Because the marriage had already been arranged by my grandfather before it died. Because breaking it would have dishonored both families. Because I needed someone I could trust in that position, someone who wasn't part of the corporate world, someone who couldn't be compromised. You don't even know me. Know everything about you, Maya Jefferson. He stopped a few feet away. I know your father needs a new heart valve, and the insurance won't cover it. I know you're putting your twin siblings through college while working as an English teacher in Itaewon. I know you came to Korea 5 years ago on a teaching contract and fell in love with the country. I know you send half your paycheck home every month. I know your mother asks when you're coming back to Atlanta, but you can't afford the plane ticket. I know you haven't bought new clothes in 2 years. I know you cry in the shower so your roommate won't hear you. Maya's breath caught. You've been watching me. 6 months before the wedding, I had to be sure, I had to know who you were. That's insane, you're insane, perhaps. He didn't deny it. But I kept you safe. I paid for your father's surgery, the best cardiac specialists in Seoul and a team in the States. I gave you financial security. I made sure your siblings' tuition was covered. And I've had a team protecting you since the day we married. Clearly they did a great job, Maya shot back. I almost died tonight. His jaw tightened. That was my failure. I underestimated my enemies. It won't happen again. Enemies? Who wants you dead badly enough to kill your widow? Taehyun moved to a bar cart and poured 2 glasses of whiskey. He brought her one. She took it and drank it in one burning gulp. He raised an eyebrow but said nothing. My company, T-Shin Tech, developed an AI system that's worth approximately $40 billion. Several parties want it. Some want to buy it. Others want to steal it. A few want to destroy it and me in the process. When the threats escalated from corporate espionage to actual assassination attempts, I decided to die. Dead men can't be killed. Dead men's assets go into probate, become untouchable for years. It bought me time to figure out who was behind it and eliminate the threat. And you thought marrying me would help how? A widow is less suspicious than a missing person. A grieving wife attending social functions, maintaining appearances, kept everyone's attention on the surface while I worked underneath. You were perfect for it. Yao needed money, I needed cover. It was transactional. The word stung more than it should have. Maya knew that story too well, being seen as a transaction. Growing up mixed in America, being too black for some spaces, not black enough for others. Moving to Korea and being the black foreign teacher, fetishized or ignored, always useful, never quite belonging. Was, Maya said. You said was. Taehyun's eyes locked onto hers. Nothing is transactional anymore. Air between them felt electric. Maya set down her glass with shaking hands. What does that mean? It means I've spent 3 months texting you every night. It means I know you're afraid of thunderstorms and that you prefer old movies to new ones. It means I know you code switch when you're on the phone with your family versus when you're speaking to my family's lawyers. It means I know you miss Atlanta peach cobbler and your grandmother's mac and cheese. It means watching you through security feeds and reading your messages wasn't enough. It means tonight, when I saw those men break into the penthouse, I broke 3 years off careful planning to keep you safe. He moved closer. Maya should have stepped back. She didn't. I was supposed to stay dead for at least another year, Taehyun continued, his voice dropping lower. But the moment they came for you, none of that mattered. I told my driver to intercept. I called in every favor I had. I revealed myself to my security team, all of it for you. You don't know me, Maya whispered, even as her body betrayed her, swaying toward him. Know you better than anyone. His hand came up, fingers barely brushing her jaw, tracing the line of her cheekbone with unexpected gentleness. I know you're terrified right now, but you're still standing here arguing with me instead of running. I know you're angry, but you're also curious. I know you felt it too through TEDx. The connection. She had. God help her, she had. Those late-night conversations had been the highlight of her days. She'd told herself she was texting a dead man, that it was safe to be honest, to be vulnerable. She'd shared things she'd never told anyone, what it felt like to be black in Korea, the microaggressions and the moments of unexpected kindness, the loneliness and the joy. And he'd shared back, or at least she'd thought he had. Was any of it real, she asked. The things you told me about your childhood, your dreams, your fears, all of it. His thumb traced her cheekbone. I've never been that honest with anyone. Because you were supposed to be dead. You had nothing to lose. No, his eyes burned into hers. Because you made me want to be real with you. Because you saw past the corporate air, the tech genius, all of it. You called me out when I was being pretentious. You made me laugh, you made me think about things differently. Maya's heart was doing something complicated in her chest. This is crazy. This whole situation is insane. You faked your death, stalked me, married me under false pretenses, and now people are trying to kill me because of you. I should hate you." "You should." He leaned closer, his breath warm against her lips. "Do you?" She should. She absolutely should. But when she looked at him, all she could think about was the text he'd sent her 2 weeks ago at 3 a.m. "Are you awake? I can't sleep. I keep thinking about what it would be like to actually talk to you. To hear your voice say my name. You told me yesterday about feeling invisible in crowds here. I see you. I've always seen you." She'd read it 17 times, pressed her phone against her chest, and let herself imagine impossible things. "I don't know what I feel," Maya admitted. "Then let me show you what I feel." He kissed her, and the world tilted. His lips were soft and demanding at once, his hand sliding into her hair, careful of her braids, tilting her head back. Maya gasped against his mouth, and he took advantage, deepening the kiss until she forgot why this was a terrible idea. Her hands fisted in his shirt, pulling him closer, and He made a sound low in his throat that vibrated through her entire body. When they broke apart, both breathing hard, Taehyun pressed his forehead to hers. "I've wanted to do that since I first saw you at the wedding ceremony. You looked terrified and brave at the same time. You were marrying Aghost for your family. You wore your hair in those beautiful braids with gold beads, and you stood there like a queen even though I knew you were scared. I knew then that I'd made the right choice. You don't choose someone for marriage like a business transaction," Maya said, but her voice lacked conviction. "In my world, that's exactly how it works, but somewhere along the way, this stopped being business." Hishen's framed her face. "You stopped being convenient, you became necessary." A phone buzzed, not hers. Taehyun pulled back with obvious reluctance and checked his phone. His expression darkened. "We need to move. They tracked the car. They know this location." Fear spiked through Maya's chest. "How many safe houses do you have?" Not enough, apparently. He was already moving, pulling a bag from a hidden compartment. "We're going island. I have a place there that's off all the records. We'll be safe while I handle this." "Handle what exactly?" "The people who want me dead." He handed her the bag. "There are clothes, cash, a new phone. Get changed. We leave in 5 minutes." "Then what? We hide forever." Taehyun stopped, turned to face her fully. "No, then I end this. I find out who's behind the attacks and eliminate the threat permanently." The cold certainty in his voice should have frightened her. Instead, she felt a strange thrill. "How?" "By doing what I do best, outthinking them." He smiled, sharp and dangerous. "I've been dead for 3 months. I've had time to prepare. They think they're hunting a widow. They're about to learn they're hunting Aghost who bites back." Maya changed quickly, swapping her torn dress for jeans and a sweater. When she emerged, Taehyun was on his laptop, fingers flying across the keyboard. "I'm sending a message to my cousin, the only person in my family I trust. He'll start spreading information through the company, make it look like we're headed to Busan. Meanwhile, we go south to Jeju. You really think this will work?" He looked up, and the intensity in his gaze made her stomach flip. "It has to, because I'm not letting anyone hurt you again." They took a different car, a different route, drove through the night with Taehyun constantly checking mirror sand side roads. Maya should have been exhausted, but adrenaline kept her wired. "Why me?" she asked finally, breaking the tense silence. "Really? You said you vetted me, but there must have been other women in debt, other women you could have paid off. Why specifically me?" Taehyun was quiet for a long moment. "There's a video from a cultural festival at your school. You're teaching a group of Korean students a line dance, and you're all laughing, trying to get the steps right. And the way Yao moved between languages, between cultures, making everyone feel included, I thought, that's someone who knows how to bridge worlds. That's someone who fights for connection even when it's hard. That's someone who wouldn't betray me for money because money isn't what drives her. Love is." Maya's throat tightened. "That's a lot to get from one video. I had dozens of videos, hundreds of hours of surveillance footage, but that one," he glanced at her. "That one made me wish I could be someone in your life for real, not as a ghost, not as a business arrangement, just as someone you might dance with like that, someone you teach your world to." "That's the saddest thing I've ever heard," Maya whispered. "My life has been about power and money since I was old enough to understand what they meant. My father groomed me to take over the company. My relationships were strategic. My friendships were networking. Opportunities. I've never had something real. And then I saw you, this beautiful black woman who chose to make Korea her home, who learned the language, who loved my country while staying true to herself, and I wanted it. I wanted you. So I made you my wife the only way I knew how. Lying to me." He didn't flinch from it. I'm not a good man, Maya. I'm ruthless and calculating, and I've done things that would horrify you. But I've never lied about what I feel. Every message I sent you, every conversation we had, that was real. That was me trying to be someone worthy of you. Maya didn't know what to say to that. They drove in silence until they reached the ferry to Jeju Island just before dawn. The sea was gray and choppy, matching her mood. On the ferry, Taehyun kept a protective hand on her back, guiding her to an inside cabin. Once the door was closed, he finally seemed to relax a fraction. We'll arrive in a few hours. Try to sleep. Can't sleep. Someone tried to kill me. I know. He sat beside her on the narrow bench. I'm sorry, I thought I'd eliminated the threat. I thought I had more time before revealing myself. Do you think it is? I have 3 primary suspects. My uncle, who wants control of the company, a rival CEO who's been trying to acquire my AI patents, and a former business partner who believes I cheated him. He rubbed his face, suddenly looking exhausted. It could be any of them, or all of them working together. You think you can figure it out from Jeju? I think I can draw them out. Now that they know you're with me, that I'm alive, they'll make a move. Desperation makes people sloppy. He looked at her. But it also makes them dangerous. I need you to promise him something. What? If things go wrong, if it comes down to it, you run. You take the money in that account I set up for you, and you disappear. You go back to Atlanta, take care of your family. You don't try to save me. You save yourself. That's a terrible deal, Maya said. You get to play hero while I run away. You didn't ask for this war. I'm not letting you die in it. What if I don't want to run? The words surprised her as much as they seemed to surprise him. What if I want to fight? Taehyun studied her face like he was seeing her for the first time. Why would you do that? I lied to you. I put you in danger. Because you also saved my father's life. Because you made sure my siblings could finish school. Because you have been the only person in 3 months who actually asked me how I was doing and meant it. Because when I look at you, I don't see a ghost anymore. I see someone who's as trapped as I've been, just in different ways. She met his eyes. And because when you kissed me, I felt more alive than I have in years. Something raw crossed his face. Maya, I'm not saying I forgive you. I'm not saying this isn't complicated and messy and probably a terrible idea. But I'm also not running away. If we're in this, we're in it together. He pulled her close, burying his face in her hair, breathing in the scent of her shea butter and coconut oil. Going to get yourself killed. Are you, if you keep trying to protect the whole world by yourself? He laughed, the sound pained. I'm not protecting the world, just you. Then let me protect you back. They stayed like that as the ferry cut through the dark water. 2 people who'd married as strangers, became friends through messages meant for a dead man, and were now hurtling toward something neither of them could control. The safe house in Jeju was exactly that, a house, not a mansion. Small, traditional, tucked into hills overlooking the ocean. Taehyun visibly relaxed once they were inside. This belonged to my grandmother. No one knows about it except me. We're safe here. Maya explored while he made calls, speaking in rapid Korean to people she assumed were lawyers, security tech experts. The house was cozy, filled with books and comfortable furniture. She found herself in front of a photo on the wall, a young Taehyun, maybe 8 years old, grinning at the camera with gap-toothed joy. He looked so different from the intense man making war plans in the next room. That was the last summer I spent here before my father decided I was old enough for serious business training, Taehyun said from behind her. I used to climb those rocks, catch crabs, pretend I was a normal kid. You were never a normal kid. He moved beside her, studying his younger self. But I was happy then, for a little while. Could be happy now, Maya said. For a little while. He turned to her, and the longing in his face was almost painful to witness. You really mean that? After everything, I think we're both too damaged to pretend otherwise. She reached up, touched his jaw. Show me the real you, not the texts, not the ghost. You. What happened next was inevitable. He kissed her like he was drowning and she was air, backed her against the wall with hands that shook slightly, like he couldn't quite believe she was real. Maya pulled at his shirt, needing to feel skin, needing proof that he was alive and here and hers. They made it to the bedroom somehow, leaving a trail of clothes. And when they came together, it was desperate and tender at once. 2 people trying to communicate everything they couldn't say out loud. His hands traced her curves with reverence, mapping the terrain of her body like it was sacred ground. She felt seen in a way she'd never experienced, not as exotic or foreign, but as herself, wholly, completely herself. After Maya lay against his chest, listening to his heartbeat slow, her fingers tracing absent patterns on his skin. Love you, Taehyun said into the darkness. I know it's too soon. I know I have no right. But I've loved Yao since the first time you texted me back and called me on my philosophical bullshit at 2 in the morning. Since you told me about your grandmother's sweet potato pie and asked if I'd ever had soul food. Since you made Meluf by sending me memes about awkward Korean drama tropes. Maya's heart clenched. You realize that's insane. Everything about us is insane. I'm not ready to say it back yet. I know. He pressed a kiss to her hair. I can wait. But they didn't have time to wait. The next morning, Taehyun's laptop pinged with an alert. His face went cold as he read the message. They found us, I don't know how, but they're coming. How long do we have? An hour, maybe 2. Maya's pulse kicked up. Then what do we do? Taehyun looked at her and she saw the decision crystallize in his eyes. We stop running, we end this, today. He spent the next hour preparing, calling in favors, coordinating with people Maya didn't know. When he washed, he turned to her with a grim smile. I'm about to commit several crimes, last chance to run. What did I say about running? That you're too stubborn for your own good. But he looked pleased. Okay, here's the plan. He laid it out simply. They'd let the attackers come. Taehyun would use the confrontation to trace them back to whoever ordered the hit. His security team would be in position. It was risky, using Maya as bait, but she'd insisted. If this goes wrong, Taehyun started. It won't. If it does, I need you to know that these months with you, even when you didn't know I was real, were the best of my life. You made me remember what it felt like to be human. Maya kissed him. Tell me again when we survive this. Waiting was the worst part. They sat in the living room, Taehyun with his laptop tracking the approaching vehicles, Maya with a phone ready to call for help if needed. When the cars finally appeared on the security cameras, her heart nearly stopped. Here, Taehyun said calmly. Stay behind me. Door exploded inward. 3 men in tactical gear stormed in, guns raised. Maya screamed part of the plan and Taehyun stepped in front of her, hands raised. Don't shoot, I'm unarmed. Jung Taehyun. The leader pulled off his mask and Taehyun's face went rigid. I knew the dead man would surface eventually. Uncle. The word dripped with venom. I should have known. You made it easy. Disappear, leave the company vulnerable. Did you really think I'd let some ghost keep me from what's mine? The company was never yours. Grandfather left it to me. Because you were his favorite, his golden boy. Meanwhile, I did the actual work. The uncle's face twisted with resentment. Then his eyes slid to Maya with disgust. And this, marrying some black American teacher, grandfather would be rolling in his grave. You've disgraced the family name. Maya felt the old familiar sting, but Taehyun's voice cut through like ice. My wife is worth 10 of you. And grandfather chose her family specifically because he respected Maya's strength and integrity, qualities you've never possessed. Convenient lie now that he's dead. The uncle sneered. But it doesn't matter. Dead men can't run companies and widows, especially foreign ones, can be convinced to sell, or eliminated if they refuse. This one, Maya said, her voice steady despite her racing heart. She'd faced down racism before. She'd survived being underestimated her whole life. This man was nothing new. Then you both die. My nephews are too young to take over. I'll manage it until they're of age. The board will prefer a Korean man to a ghost and his black widow. Except we're not dying today, Taehyun said, and smiled. The windows exploded inward as his security team repelled in. The room erupted into chaos. Taehyun grabbed Maya, pulling her down as bullets flew. His uncle dove for cover, shouting orders. But it was clear his men were outmatched and outnumbered. In minutes it was over. The security team had all 3 attackers on the ground, zip-tied and subdued. Taehyun stood, helped Maya up, and walked over to his uncle with terrifying calm. You know what's funny? He said conversationally. I recorded this whole thing. The confession, the attempted murder, the racist remarks about my wife, all of it. By now it's been sent to the board of directors, the police, and several news outlets. You're done. His uncle's face went ashen. You planned this. Been planning this since I faked my death. I just needed you to reveal yourself. Thank you for being predictable. He turned away. Take him. The security team dragged the men out. Police sirens wailed in the distance. Taehyun turned to Maya and the mask of cold calculation dropped. Are you okay? I'm okay. She was shaking but alive. Is it over? This part is. There's still the rival CEO and the former partner, but they were minor players. My uncle was their al threat. He orchestrated everything. Taehyun pulled her into his arms. It's over. Maya let herself collapse against him, finally letting the fear and adrenaline drain away. What happens now? Now I come back from the dead, publicly. There'll be a scandal, investigations, media circus. I'll have to explain everything. He pulled back to look at her. Including you, our marriage will be scrutinized. They'll dejinto your past, your motivations, everything. And there will be people, many people, who won't accept us because of your race, because you're American, because you're not what they expected. It won't be easy. Been Black in Korea for 5 years. I know what I'm signing up for. This will be different. You'll be in the spotlight. The racism won't just be microaggressions and stares. It'll be news articles, social media attacks, people questioning whether our marriage is legitimate. Them question. Maya lifted her chin. I've spent my whole life proving I belong. I'm not stopping now, especially not for people who can't see past their prejudices. Taehyun's expression softened with fierce admiration. They'll try to annul it, say it's not valid because I was legally dead. They can try, she echoed his earlier determination. But I'll fight it too, he asked quietly. You could walk away with the money, start fresh, avoid all of this. Because somewhere between the ghost texts and the bullets, I fell in love with you too. The words came easier than she expected. And I'm not giving up on that without a fight. Taehyun dropped to his knees right there. In his grandmother's living room with police sirens outside and broken glass on the floor. Maya Jefferson Park, I married you when I was a ghost. Let me marry you again as Ammon. Be my wife. For real this time. Not because of money or convenience or protection, because I love you. Because I can't imagine my life without you in it. Because you make me want to be human instead of just surviving. Because you're the bravest person I've ever met. Tears blurred Maya's vision. You're still insane. That a yes. It's a yes. She pulled him up, kissed him hard. But we're doing a real wedding this time, with you actualither and alive. And I want my family here. My dad walking me down the aisle, my siblings as bridesmaids and groomsmen, my grandmother's mac and cheese at the reception. Deal. As long as we also have my grandmother's kimchi and my mother's japchae. We're talking. Maya grinned through her tears. An Afro-Korean fusion wedding. That's going to break the internet. It break. Taehyun kissed her again. I want the world to see us. 6 months later, Maya stood in a chapel in Seoul wearing a dress she'd actually chosen. A stunning fusion of traditional Korean hanbok elements and elegant African prints designed by a up-and-coming Afro-Korean designer. Her hair was styled in intricate braids woven with gold thread and fresh flowers. Across from her stood a man who was very much alive and looking at her like she was his whole world. The media circus had indeed happened, but it had also sparked something unexpected. A conversation about diversity in Korea, about Afro-Korean identity, about love across cultures. Maya had become an unlikely spokesperson, speaking about her experience with grace and honesty. She'd faced the racism head-on, called it out when necessary, and refused to be diminished by it. Her father, recovered and strong, had walked her down the aisle. Her siblings stood beside her. Taehyun's mother, who'd been skeptical at first, had wept when Maya spoke to her in Korean and asked for her blessing. The chapel was full of both families, a beauty.
Wow, what a journey, right? From bullets and broken glass to braids and beaded promises, from texting a ghost to marrying a man who was willing to come back from the dead just to protect her. If this story had you on the edge of your seat, or maybe wiping away a tear or two, do me a huge favor and smash that like button. It really helps this channel grow and lets me know you want more stories like this. And here's my question for you. If you found out your spouse had faked their death and been texting you the whole time, what would you do? Would you run for the hills? Would you stay and fight? Or would you do exactly what Maya did and demand answers first? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one, and I'm genuinely curious what you'd do in her situation. Now, if you loved this wild Afro-Korean romance that gave us action, mystery, cultural fusion, and love that literally came back from the dead, you need to subscribe to this channel. We specialize in stories that push boundaries, interracial love stories, multicultural romances, and characters who look like you having the adventures they deserve. Hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss when we drop the next thrilling story. Trust me, the next one is even crazier. Let's just say it involves a K-pop star, an undercover agent, and a wedding heist in Dubai. You're not going to want to miss it. Thanks for watching, and remember, sometimes the most unbelievable love stories are the ones worth believing in. I'll see you in the next one.